record. Yeah, it is recording now. So let's make a formal introduction for our listener. Good afternoon, Alberto. My name is Claudio. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C. This is my good friend Christian from Santiago, Chile. From the studios in Fairfax City, we're very humble and grateful that Alberto Moreno accepted our invitation to our show. Alberto, buonasera. Welcome to the show.
Hi to all listeners.
Alberto, let's go over a little bit from the beginning what's going on in the world with this year with the pandemic and people not being able to get vaccinated. How is this affected your life, your family, your music, your creativity, all of that?
Luckily, we are all well until now, but the period is very difficult for Italy and for my city in this moment. We have the weather situation, and so we stay at home and we have to be very attention.
Yeah, feel free to get closer to the mic, Alberto, so you can get close like that.
And better is better.
Yeah, that is much better. So go ahead. So how's the situation in Italy with all the pandemic and COVID-19?
The pandemic, you ask for pandemic?
Yeah,
It's totally in Italy, but in some regions is better, but in our region, Liguria, near the French, is not good, and we have to stay at home and pay very attention because we have the English mutations now in Italy.
Yeah.
So it's very problematic.
And then everybody over 60 or so, they will get the vaccine?
Not ancora. Not now. I have 70 here. I am waiting for the vaccine, but we have too much less vaccine for the people. So I have to wait. Can you hear me well? No.
Yeah. So you will need to wait. Yeah, here in United States and Christian in Latin America also. Yeah, slowly, little by little, people are getting vaccinated, which everybody needs to do. So the way that we want to go the interview, I will ask you some questions, then Christian will ask you 2 or 3, and then go back to me, and so on. Very, very full. Yeah, so let's go back to the beginning. Were you born, Alberto, in a musical family? I mean, would your dad or your mom play music, or?
Yes, I was born in a family. My father plays trumpet, and I began to play piano at 7 years old, and I listened for music since 8, 9 years, and I listened for West Side Story, Leonard Bernstein,
Yeah.
Overall soundtrack. My first inspiration is the theme of Exodus by Ernst Gold,
Yeah.
a movie of 1960, and I begin my music. I remember this theme, West Side Story, a lot of jazz music. My father was a listener for jazz music, and so I'm cresciuto. I'm growing into the music until 14. At 14, I began to play in a little band. The first one was called the Peanuts.
Okay. And at home, you guys
made the cover.
Okay. And then at home you have like a stereo in the living room where you listen to a lot of records.
Yes. The first stereo in 1960.
Wow.
The first stereo.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was before the
Great.
internet, before CDs, before any technology.
Yes, yes. And I listen very a lot of records, a lot until now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Go ahead, Christian.
Okay, Alberto. Hola, hola. Ciao
Now,
from Chile.
now.
It's an honor and a pleasure to talk to you, to meet you. And I had the chance to play your music and many other Italian and European bands on radio here, on a radio called Futuro FM back in the 90s. And we could play your music not every day, but it was not a pop station. So we could have I had the chance to promote and show the people this type of music for a long time. So congratulations for what you achieved, musically speaking. Your music work has been labeled, described as a masterpiece, Zarathustra. I was going to ask you, where does the name Museo Rosenbach come from, Alberto?
Yes, about the name, there were many steps. Before the Museo in 70, the band was called Fifth Avenue, Fifth Street, Quinta Strada, and a name of a place. And in the first years of 70, many Italian bands, used the place for their name. I remember Bakery for Prediata Forneria Marconi, Bank of Common Help, Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, Hold In, quella vecchia locanda. We follow and sit to the museum. And when came two members of Il Sistema, a band from Sanremo, Leonardo Lagorio and Walter Moreno, we decided to change the name from Fifth Street in Museo. But the steps are numerous. The first is inauguration of Museum of the Human Minds. It's very funny, very funny. It's too long, too much dramatic. So the second step was inauguration of a museum. But one night I have a book of a German editor called Otto Rosenbach. And I like Rosenbach because in Italian means the river of roses. And so
Wow.
I think inauguration of Museo Rosenbach, then inauguration out and remain Museo Rosenbach.
It was a long story, long development.
Long story, but after some years, I find a place in Philadelphia. There is a real Museo Rosenbach in
Wow.
Philadelphia.
Look at that. It was a coincidence. Now, I'm not sure if there were any people studying philosophy in the band members. My question is, Alberto, do you need to be familiar with Nietzsche to understand better the work on Zarathustra? I mean, maybe it's a dull question, but you don't have to be familiar with anything to understand, to enjoy the music better, do you?
Yes, I was the only member of the band who studied
Philosophy.
Nietzsche
Oh,
Yeah.
philosophy. The other member trust me and follow me in the concept of the album. I try to put in the listen, really. I try to put in the music the thought of Zarathustra and some of the basis of the philosophy of Nietzsche. So I wrote the words and I wrote all the music. The other members followed me because they trusted in me.
And were you, sorry,
The
go ahead.
problem is choice the arguments of Nietzsche, and I've chosen 2 or 3 arguments, like the link between man and nature with the song Della Natura, between eternal return, in the song Dell'Eterno Ritorno, and the Superman, and I put this in the suite of Zarathustra. Zarathustra is a travel. He leaves the mountain, and all the suite is the meeting of Zarathustra with some person. The first person is the last man, the man who don't know that God is dead. The second, sung by Giancarlo Golzi, is a meeting with the Re di ieri, the king of yesterday. It means the king of God, the old king power. Then Zarathustra meet the priest in Al di là del bene e del male. And finally, Zarathustra remains alone because when he transforms himself in Superman, he has to be alone. Then he can go inside il Tempio delle Clessidre when he knows the Eterno Ritorno and the other news of Nietzsche philosophy.
Very interesting, really. Did you have any influence? I imagine that you may have listened to Richard Strauss's work, also Sprach Zarathustra.
See, when we went on stage in the year of 17, before the concert, we played always Zarathustra, and after the concert, Elgar, a piece of Elgar used by Stanley Kubrick in some movie. The intro of Zarathustra, the first notes of Zarathustra are inspired by Richard Strauss. I want to give an intro symphonic before the beginning of travel of the poet, of the Zarathustra.
The same way that Yes used a Firebird by Stravinsky, huh? You remember on Yes songs, you said that yeah, you were fans of Yes, and they used to use a Firebird for the opening.
Stravinsky?
Yeah,
Stravinsky?
Yes, the band, Yes, they used to play Yes.
Far from Stravinsky. Very far from Stravinsky. I like the printemps, the music about the printemps. I listen some the Bird of Fire of Stravinsky, but our music is very, very far, Christian.
No, but I was comparing that if you use Strauss in the opening of your shows, Yes would use Stravinsky for the shows. Now, Alberto, well, obviously the work has been labeled as progressive. Some people, because I met and had the chance to interview other musicians here in Chile when they come, think that progressive is a very old word. I don't know if you mind for labels, etiquetas. What do you think about this? Because it's a progressive masterwork. Everybody says it's a progressive masterwork.
Yes. I have heard for the first time this word in the first years of 80.
Oh,
When we played in the 70, never I have heard this.
term.
But if I think about the label progressive, I can find something of this label. For example, the long suite, the lines even or odd, the change of rhythm suddenly,
Yeah.
and overall a link between the music and the cover and the book with the records. Progressive is a work, I want to say totally, not only music, but pictures of the cover and something of deep in the words, So I
Okay.
think we are progressive.
Okay. Yeah. So it's
But
music that
I prefer,
you prefer what? Sorry.
but I prefer to choose for Museo Rosenbach the word Italian symphony rock.
Ah, look,
Free
this
rock,
is
yeah.
that's my next question. If Claudio allows me to
Yeah,
do
go ahead.
one more question. I didn't know that it was your choice because I read about this term, Italian symphonic progressive rock. Could you mention other bands you think that fit in the category from those days? Obviously, I tend to think of the English bands. We were usually exposed to the English bands here. Yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Genesis. Yeah.
Understood. The first, I think the first progressive album is by Moody Blues, Days of Future Past.
Mhm.
In I think is 67, I think, and there is the first recording of a mellotron.
Yeah, that's true.
Mellotron is necessary to the progressive or symphonic music. I think about the Mellotron M4000, and we have this the same used by the Genesis. The second album of progressive, I think, is Atom and Mother by Pink Floyd. The suite is the beginning of suite for progressive music, but I cannot dimenticare.
Forgot.
I cannot forget Tarkus by Emerson, Lake Palmer.
Yeah.
Atom Armada, Tarkus, and Jethro Tull, Fix the Brick.
Mm.
Fix the Brick are the most important for me, and Genesis, Ceiling by the Pound. But the Genesis is different. I think it's progress, but I think it's different. It depends from the tracks and the record. In Italy, I remember surely Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, Neutrals, who played with the orchestra in Concerto Grosso with Luis Bacalov, and they played with the orchestra really. As the Procolarum. Procolarum is another group, and I think the second or the third album is a very prog music, not the first one. So in Italy, were Neutrals, Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, the first and the second album, overall Darwin, and then we can speak about this album. But when I talk about Darwin, I think always to Tarkus.
Do you remember? Sorry, Alberto.
No,
Lo siento. Do
Tell
you
me.
remember Il Balletto di Bronzo? Let me tell you a little story, because last weekend there was an online progressive rock show here in Chile called Santiago Art Rock, and Gianni Leone was a guest. He presented YS, remember the fantastic record YS? He presented a live version of that. Everybody participated with live recordings, but previously made in studio because of the pandemic. And Gianni Leone was the special guest from Italy.
Yes, Gianni Leone was a great performer.
Yeah.
I listened for him 2 years ago in Bordighera. He's very great performer, but I didn't know him in the progressive era when we were in the 70s.
Okay.
I have contact with the PFM because our manager now until 2030, Yaya De Capitani, and we had contact with the PFM. We play with them in Rome and in Mexicali, in Mexico.
Yeah.
But we knew very well the Banco Mutuo Soccorso because he was on the same label of us, recording, and was our model, I admit.
You go, Claudio?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
no problem. So Alberto, what at the time when you guys began and you formed the band Museo Rosenbach, what do you form another band before Museo when you finish the equivalent of high school here? That was your first band, or you form another band?
La banda precedente quando hai finito la scuola superiore.
Ah, yes. I have formed
Yeah,
a lot of bands. The first one is the Peanuts, but we are very young. We play cover of the Rolling Stones, Beatles, and the music of the Beat generation. Then I in free when arrives Jimi Hendrix with Giancarlo Golzi and Pete Corradi to the guitar. I played the bass and Giancarlo Golzi drums. We formed a band called Moon Sound, and we played just music of Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady, Purple Haze, Fire, all Electric Ladyland, etc. Before Museo, I told you, there was a band called the Fifth Street, and in this period we play just a cover of Santana, Led Zeppelin, and I had a travel because a travel through the labels of the music: beat, hard rock, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and then we arrived to the music of 70 is a rock, but with symphonic, with we call it sometime, but I'm not call it decadence rock. David Bowie, Pink Floyd, and Zarathustra is formed in this period. Museo is in this period.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
Since 71 to 74.
Perfect, yeah. And then I know you've been traveling a lot in Italy, of course, right? And in Europe, but you mentioned Philadelphia before. Where the band was touring here in United States and Latin America, you mentioned Mexico as well?
dove hai girato negli Stati Uniti.
Ah sì, no, museo, I have to say a little story of Museo. Museo stopped his performance in 74
Sure.
because every member chose his type of life. Pete Corradi wanted to be an architect. Enzo Meronio worked in the pharmacy. Lupo Galiffi worked in a hospital. I began to teach, and Giancarlo Golzi entered in the Mattia Bazaar, is a group of pop music. So in 74 we stopped until the 2013,
Yeah.
when Yaya De Capitani said to us, there is the chance of play in Tokyo. So we formed with other guys, because Peter and Enzo didn't want to be in the museum, with other guys, young guys, and we play one time in Tokyo, in the festival prog, for the first time after 30 years, we played Zarathustra.
Wow.
After 30. Then we play in Rome with Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, PFM Osanna, and Franco Battiato in Rome Auditorium. It was a great concert. I like it very much. And then we play in Bordighera, the place where I live, and overall in Mexicali, in 2000, Baja California, near San Diego. And then we stopped because Giancarlo Golzi is dead.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah. And then that's the concert that you did in Tokyo. That was a big important one, and the one that you just mentioned in Rome. It was recorded at all. Their
Yes.
copy, their master copy.
Se
È stato registrato, sì, sembra.
Yes, the concert of Tokyo is recorded in 2 CD.
Yeah.
Called Live in Tokyo.
Live in Tokyo, yeah.
If you listen for this record, you have all the history of our music, except the second album, Unknown, called Exit. If you want, I can say something about this album. But in Live in Tokyo, you have all the history of Museo Rosenbach progressive band, because we have in the first CD Zarathustra, and in the second CD Barbarica. I think Barbarica is the sequel of Zarathustra. And this I like this recording. I like very much when my friends say, "What is your better record?" After Zarathustra, I said live in Tokyo.
Live in Tokyo, yeah, beautiful, right? I like in the background behind you, the wood and the furniture that you have. It looks very nice. I don't know if your son can explain the wood, right? The wood, the furniture, be very beautiful, right?
Yeah. This is a piano.
Yeah.
This is a piano of the 1876.
Wow.
AL, an old piano for my family.
Yeah.
And the old piano, but it's difficult to play it because it's not easy to chord.
Yeah.
Maintain the chords.
Do you have a big music collection? Do you have a lot of CDs and vinyl at home?
Ah, see, I had many LP original from 60, 70, 80.
Wow.
One day, no, listen, one day my wife says, we must buy this LP. You don't listen for them more. So I buyed, li ho venduti.
I sell.
I
What?
sell
So
all the LP for
I sold them.
pochi soldi.
Sold them for a little.
For a little money, and now I am without LP original. I had the LP original in the version American of Procolarum, the first album of Procolarum, and the first album original American of Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
In Italy, the tracks were different from the first album printed in America.
Perfect. Yeah, Christian has a big music collection, as you can see in his back, the back. All the music, very good music. Go ahead, Christian.
I think that before we go on, Alberto, maybe you could introduce your interpreter, who's like we can see him, but he's doing a great job. Your interpreter next to you.
Your son, I think.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So you like English? You speak English?
Yeah.
What do you play music?
No, I never played.
And what do you use English for? Do you work with English?
To study philosophy.
Look at that. Interesting. So thanks for the job. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, so I have to study them in English.
Look at that. Interesting. So you don't study, well, but you study philosophy in Italian, I suppose, too?
Yeah, like my father. Like father, son.
Like father, like son. Excellent.
Your father is a very good musician. He's very good musician. And the band, all this Italian, like we talked at the beginning, right? The Banco, PFM, Leorme, Museo, those are very, very good bands. The progressive rock in Italy was very, very good.
Excellent.
I grew up with him listening to the same music again and again.
Okay. What do you listen to these days? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is Giacomo.
Giacomo, what do you listen to these days? What do you like to listen the most when you listen to music?
Oh yeah, I listen a lot of music, but I mainly listen pop music because I have no time to listen.
To listen. Okay, excellent. Well,
but I really like progressive. I really like old music.
And knows my new compositions.
Oh, that's a well-kept secret.
Yeah.
Right.
The secret remain in the family.
Well, we hope to find the secret one day. My next question, Alberto. Thank you, Giacomo. The original vinyl version or edition of Zarathustra was limited to 1,000 copies, but it came in a lavish book-like type of edition. What was behind the concept? Was it very difficult to release records in that way? And everybody would like to have one of those 1,000 copies. Are you going to ever reissue it on vinyl? Because vinyl, it's very popular again these days, and everybody loves vinyl. Yeah.
The history is this. The label Ricordi made a great promotion of our album. 1,000 of copies in that period was a great number because they made 1,000 copies and cassette tapes and stereo 8, a type of cassette. So I have no problem with the promotion of our label, but I have a problem with the mistake the Ricordi made about the cover, because the promotion was good, but the design of cover gave us very, very problems in that period in Italy, because it was a political very hard. And if you see our cover, you see black background, the face of Mussolini,
Yeah.
and the name of Nietzsche. The name of Nietzsche. These three aspects of the cover made us fascist.
Ah, okay.
And it was a very problem for us because the radio banned our music in 73. And so when we went in Milano to record it, I made a cover different from this. I made the face of Zarathustra made by the ancient ruins, temple, Egyptian, and the label wanted to have a cover more hard, but it was a risk, a great risk for the public, for us. So I am happy of the promotion of the recording, but I have to remember this great mistake that destroy in the 73 and the 74, destroy the museum. Now the problem is not more.
Are you planning to release the album on vinyl someday?
I said 2 weeks ago to Yaya De Capitani, the manager, I say, why we don't make in vinyl Barbarica? And she said, I think about this and then I say something. I hope, but if I really sincere, I prefer to be in vinyl live in Tokyo. Live in Tokyo for me is better in vinyl because live in Tokyo is my favorite record, because you can listen how we play on stage. Barbarica is a little bit cold. Respect our performance on stage. And rock has to be performed on stage. Led Zeppelin 2, if you listen to Led Zeppelin on stage, is very, very different from the Led Zeppelin on record. Like a jet, like a jet. Like a jet.
Alberto, I was, while you were talking, I was searching for the covers and I just found a very rare edition that says Museo Rosenbach live in studio. Are you familiar with that edition?
Live in studio, una versione live in studio molto rara, dice.
Ma I don't know every edition. I know there is rare and unreleased, but live in studio there is only Zarathustra live in studio in 2012.
Ah, okay.
But
And
this Zarathustra played in a time as on stage, but we made this in 2012. I think you can reach an edition of the first Zarathustra, but I don't like it because it's a bad tape, called Rare and Unreleased.
okay.
You can the first version of Zarathustra with other words, and but it is bootleg. It is bootleg.
Yeah. And there's a Facebook page, Alberto, on Facebook that is called Museo Rosenbach Prog Back, and there is a guy with one of the musicians, I guess, and there is a signed copy of Zarathustra with a yellow, no, with an orange vinyl, transparent orange
yes.
vinyl.
But it was made the last September. In last September, I am very happy to this edition by Sony Music.
Ah, okay,
In the vinyl orange,
exactly.
But
Yeah.
there are 21 editions of Zarathustra, 20 in the world, and something I've lost the name because 3 or 4 editions was made in Korea, and I lost not news from this edition.
And you said that your favorite is the one in Japan. Is this only available in Japan, or was this made available in Europe, Italy? How can I get it if I want it?
No, live in Tokyo, you can find it in all over the world.
Oh, not in Chile.
Amazon.
Ah, okay.
Amazon, you can find Barbarica and Live in Tokyo, and Zarathustra Live in Studio. The problem is the Sony. For Zarathustra, the original of 73, is very, very impossible to find now. With Giancarlo Golzi, one day we called the Sony Music and we asked for them, can we buy the master of Zarathustra of 73? They answer us, you are very full. Matti, no? You are very full. This record is by Sony and remain always by Sony Music.
That's terrible. That happens to many musicians all over the world. You know, there's a very famous band, Alberto, in Chile called Congreso. They are big masters of fusion, and like they have an interesting fusion of jazz, and well, and they had to make a big effort to be able to reissue one of the records in Chile, and the label didn't want to give them the right to use the masters, which is absurd because they are the creators. Even if they charge you with money, they should let you use the record. They have the tapes back.
Yes, but I maybe I understand something, but I try to answer. You must remember that in 71 the band was not through with the label. We were so young, 21.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is a recorder, a disc, and we signed everything to do the record. And the label, but for the Banco too, and for the Grit, like Genesis and the first Pink Floyd, it was different from now. The band were not famous, and the discography was the Padrone.
The owner.
The
owner.
Was the owner.
Okay. Now, the next question, Alberto, is on your chat. Maybe it helps you. I'm talking about Stefano Galifi, his singing, and Giancarlo Golzi. They have been particularly praised by the critics and fans. Yes. Were they musically trained formally? No.
They are instinctive performance.
Oh, wow.
All two. Stefano Lupo Galifi is a great soul singer. He came from James Brown, Chicago, Little Richard, and when I listened for him, I have to decide a challenge to put this soul voice into the music symphonic. And is a challenge and a decision I made. And it was a good feel for me. Giancarlo was a drummer instinctive. He played in the 2014 like in 67. He have a link with the drum native. And I had a great feeling with him, like as a bassist, because I played the bass in Zarathustra. Then I played keyboard, but in the Zarathustra I played the bass. And my work with Giancarlo was always a good feeling between us. So when he died, for me it's very difficult to continue the music.
And what about Leonardo Lagorio? You work with him.
Leonardo is, because he's a great performer in flute, in sax and piano, and is a great arrangement. He came from a band that I want to say something. This band is called The Sistema, The System, a band from Sanremo. And it was a band with very new, a great band. And two members of this band were Leo Lagorio and Enzo Meronio in guitar. The band collapsed, and Leo and Enzo Meronio came with the Museo. When Lagorio came with us, ha portato, has carried some music of the system. You can listen this part of music by Lagorio in the Tempio delle Clessidre, the
Temple of
Our Glasses, is a part made by Lagorio. I wrote the riff of Della Natura, about nature in Zarathustra. I wrote the riff for Leo because I wanted to be played by sax, but he had the problems, trouble with the work. Christian, can you hear me?
Yeah.
He had troubles with the work, so he left us, and I was constricted to Hammond. And you listen the second riff in Della Natura played by Pete Corradi at Hammond.
Okay. Well, the connection sometimes.
You understand my English?
Sure? No problem. There, from time to time, the connection becomes like interrupted, but that's the only thing. You know, Alberto and Giacomo, there's a very good band from Italy I really love, and I'm sure that you must have made something or know, maybe you know, Corrado Rustici and Nova. I love Nova. They are such a great band, and they work with Phil Collins and Percy Jones from Brand X. Do you have any connection with those people? Because they are really great musicians.
No, I know Corrado Rustici, just a name, because I think he worked in USA, Corrado Rustici.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, I think. I can remember.
He even worked with Whitney Houston, as far as I remember. He produced some of her records. Yes. But the strange thing about Nova is that they didn't become as famous as maybe you. And they made like 4 albums. So that's weird. Some bands from Italy became famous in Japan because Japanese are crazy about rock and they release everything. So then so many good bands from Italy remain unknown or less known than other bands. So it's a mystery.
Yes, yes. But we began to be famous just in the 80 years. For 6 and 7 years in Italy and Europe, Museo Rosenbach, nothing. Is a market, is a problem of market. Christian, our lucky was the Japan. Our lucky was the Japan, because in 82, in 1982, when was produced the first CD in Japan, the King Records choose some bands of Europe and choose Queen, Museo Rosenbach, and other band. So we were very popular in Japan, more than in Italy. And now is the same. We are more popular in Mexico, in Brazil, in Japan, in Spain, but in Italy remains the problem I said before.
Okay. Now, my last one on my part, maybe because Claudio has a couple more questions, I guess. What are bands that you admire, Alberto, or listen to from Italy, from today, from the past, and that you think in some way took the spirit of your band or of the good days, if you want to say so?
The band who inspired me.
No, sorry, the other way around. What bands do you think you like from today?
Di oggi, di ieri.
Ah, sì. Yes. I like overall Genesis. And Pink Floyd. But I want to remember two bands not so popular. I mean Gentle Giant.
Fantastic.
Gentle Giant. Remember, Claudio and Christian, listen dell'Eterno Ritorno of Museo. The incipit, the first attack, was inspired by Giant of Gentle Giant.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And I want to remember another not famous band called If.
Yeah.
If is, I think it's Scottish or in Scottish band, but when you listen for Della Natura, the riff I said before is inspired, si dice così, inspired by a track of If called Fibonacci's number. I am a mannerist. Like a composer. I listen many music, and I take some part of one and some part of another. And my attitude is to meet together, to put together. I'm not original, but I am able to put in some track many idea and decide how many minutes we can stay in this type of music. When we must to change, I'm able to do just it.
And if sorry, Alberto, imagine that I know nothing about Italy. I'm just landing on my spaceship on Earth, and I want you to recommend some music from Italy today. What music do you think you could recommend that it's today's music?
Today in Italy?
But yeah, bands from today that you think, wow, they are doing a great job.
No, se c'è qualcuno che fa musica bella oggi in Italia.
Ah, no. no, the rock band are not in Italy now. We have a rock band in Vasco Rossi, but it's pop music. You don't know.
Yeah.
No. Now in Italy, there is many rap music. Another genre. I don't listen. I don't listen nothing in this. Christian, when I write music, for me it's difficult to listen other music. I prefer to remain in my atmosphere, and I make attention to don't listen too much this author, and now for nothing, because this music remains in my home. But when I compose, I don't listen to music.
If you allow me to say, because I want to, Claudio, go ahead with a conversation. I guess tomorrow, Claudio, we are going to have a conversation with some people you probably know, Leorme, that I really love. And they made an incredible album not long ago. The album is called Elementi. I was checking. It's an absolutely amazing album. I'm not sure if you've gone through it. It really retains, it still keeps the atmosphere of the very creative peak of their production.
Yes.
Because many other new bands or old bands have tried to make good albums, and it's not always so brilliant. But Leorme, I think they retain the creativity and the talent.
Yes, is members are not the same of the old Leorme. But by the Orme, I like very much, but the whole record, Felona and Sorona.
Yeah, good.
This is great. And the first their album, Collage. I think Collage is the first example of progressive music in Italy in the 70s.
Yeah.
Look to the Sky, uno sguardo verso il cielo, is a song very important for us, for the Banco, because was the first time the music goes out from the popular music.
Good. Well, Alberto, it's been, on my part, it's been fantastic to meet you, to share some moments with you and Giacomo. He's been a great assistant. Thank you to the both of you. And please, when you feel okay, try to share your secrets, your musical secrets one day. Yeah.
I thank you for the opportunity to speak about my career and about the band. Thank you very much. Thank you
It's an honor. Thank you.
It's an honor. It's will be great if one day the band can do another show, another mini tour, but with the death of Giancarlo will be difficult, right? So
yes, Claudio, the time is very, very hard.
yeah, it's very, very hard. But yeah, there are many for a fan. They always want to listen to your music, right? So
I tried to compose always, because for me is important to live, but my age is
yeah, but the talent is still there. You know, you're
Yes.
very talented.
also the mind. I have the mind of 20 years old.
Oh,
but
that's pretty good. Yeah.
the body.
The body that, yeah, I understand. Yeah, we are too. What's the meaning of the tattoos?
Yeah, in the hand. Extraterrestrials? No.
This is a
Oh.
pictures of Miro.
Yeah.
Miro, yeah.
And the sun.
Yeah.
Sun. And the principle of life and the man.
Yeah.
This one, this one is a Chinese phrase. It means who he is a Zen philosophy. Zen philosophy.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. So we mentioned before that people can buy your music in Amazon, eBay as well. Christian, they are there, and for our listener, so they want to continue buying your music and prolonging that the life of the music, and because as mentioned before, all those Italian bands, right? Banco, PFN, Museo, Le Orbi, they all are very, very good. Different, but they're very, very good. They were very, very influential for here. And in that.
Thank you. I hope my English.
No, don't worry. It was very good, man. Now to conclude, I will say a little bit in Italian now. Now you will laugh at me. But grazie mille per il tuo tempo e per le ottima musica.
Grazie Christian e grazie Claudio e grazie per tutto.
Thank you, and I will send you the link for the interview as well, so you can post it in the website, your Facebook account, and everything.
Hey, Giacomo.
Giacomo, thank you very much. Good luck with your studies, man.
And Alberto, give a passion play, which is my Jethro Tull favorite, sometime. It's an amazing word. Everybody mentions Thick as a Brick, but passion play is fantastic too.
Fantastic, and Aqualode too. Aqualode.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.